Okay, this is going to be a video review of the Powerfingers product that I've got here. I'm going to cover what it is, how to use it, why you might use it, some cheaper alternatives, pros, cons, and who I'd recommend it to. So first up, the Powerfingers system is a stretchy ring that is for strengthening the muscles in the fingers, hand, wrist, and forearm. And so it can help to prevent injury, so you can use it as prehab, maintenance, as well as assisting in recovery if you've done some damage to that part of the body. And part of the logic for, I think I said, balancing out the muscles. What I mean by that is, you might have, play an instrument like a guitar or something, or a piano, or use a mouse a lot during the day, or the keyboard. Basically, your hand is kind of in this sort of a position for extended periods of time. You might have a job where you carry things a lot, and so you're kind of predominantly doing this sort of a motion. And what this gadget can do is it works on doing the reverse. You strengthen the other side of the hand and forearm. So I'll just demonstrate it for you. So there's 5 levels: light gray, darker gray, blue, purple, and light gray is the easiest. The purple's the strongest, and they've got these holes in them, 5 circles, and these other slits as well. You basically put your fingers in, and it's going to hold them down like this, and you work against it, right? And by doing that, you're going to be strengthening the muscles on the top side of your forearm, which you can't make a generalization, but it can be an issue for people that for a lot of work on the keyboard, a lot of work with the mouse, with certain musical instruments, they could be quite strong on the underside, but weak on the top side. And so this helps to kind of undo that muscle imbalance. And like I said earlier, you can obviously also use it to prevent a future muscle imbalance. And there's hundreds of different exercises you can do with these. That's why they've got all the holes in them. I'm not going to demonstrate all of those. You can see them on YouTube. It can also help with generic things like improving grip strength, or mobility, general range of motion for the fingers. And in terms of specific injuries or conditions that it may help with, some of the ones listed on their website are tendinitis, particularly in the elbow or in the wrist, carpal tunnel. A lot of people who are on the computer too much get that, and other sort of repetitive strain issues. There's a lot of those. I'm not too super informed on them, but that can arise from certain musical instruments, so it can help with those as well. Now, what would be a cheaper alternative? Like I mentioned in the introduction, you can just get a rubber band, like a thick rubber band, and it will work almost as good. It won't be as good because it doesn't have a gap for each finger, and there's obviously less variety of exercises you can do with it. But a rubber band, a cheap rubber band that you've got on your desk already, you could do this. And I used to do that as well before I found out about this product. So I've already kind of mentioned the pros or covered them, but just to reiterate, you're working on mobility, dexterity, strength in a part of the body that's quite important, preventing future injury potentially. Say you fall over and your hands are a lot stronger, they're probably less likely to get as bad of an injury. So there's definitely benefits to it. The one downside, I would say, I have read reviews online where they've said that it can break. So here's this one that I've got here. But I've had this for like 4 years. I don't know if you can see that if I zoom in. Yeah. So it's going to break soon. But yeah, like I said, I've had it for 4 years, so it's not too bad. Other than that, the fact that it might break, I haven't heard of any other criticism. I mean, some people will say, oh, it's a waste of money, you could just get a rubber band, and that is sort of valid, but rubber band's not going to have as much, it's not going to be as strong or have as variety of exercises that you can do with it. So yeah, I would recommend it, looking into it at least, if you're, a musician or someone who uses their hands a lot and you want to make sure that you don't get any future injury. And if you have got an injury already, then you really need to be thinking about this, because you don't want to get some long-term damage or sort of tendinitis or, arthritis or something like that in your hand, because that's going to be a real pain in the future when you're trying to, we need our hands for a lot of different things. The other thing that I would just quickly mention before finishing, I've said this in lots of other videos, you should look into functional patterns. You should look at their YouTube channel, Instagram. You should be working on biomechanics in general. If you're doing whole body movements and you're doing stuff that's on the functional patterns YouTube channel, you look at the 10-week course, those sorts of exercises, then you're less likely to need these sort of gadgets in the first place, because your body will just be, more versatile. You'll be stronger overall, and you'll be much less likely to get an injury in the first place. So this is the Powerfingers product. If you're interested, I'll leave information in the description below. And regardless of whether you decide to purchase that, just think about hand health and look into functional patterns if you're serious about injury prevention and improving human performance.